Are the global elites exploiting the current pandemic to kill cash and to finally bring in the one world currency of the big brother state? Well, a growing interest by central banks the world over seems to indicate that we could indeed be moving towards a cashless society much sooner than most people anticipate. The kind of cashless society that ends up being built will really determine our future. The Crypto Lark. This is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out there in crypto land. And of course, if the idea of living under the heels of a central bank digital currency does not particularly appeal to you, and you're interested in getting some Bitcoin, but you still need help figuring out all the basics like what is Bitcoin, how and where to buy Bitcoin, how to mine Bitcoin, how to store Bitcoin, all of those questions and much, much more, then check out my course, Cryptocurrency Explained. It is specifically designed for beginners. This course will walk you through all the basics with step-by-step tutorials. There is a link down below in the description where you can learn more. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig on into this. So right now, this global pandemic is being used as a scapegoat to get a wish list of global elite fantasies fulfilled. I mean, there's bailouts of just unimaginable proportions for corporations, unlimited money being given over to the commercial banks. We have central banks buying up junk bonds because socialism for the rich, capitalism for the poor, right? We have massive censorship happening on the major tech platforms. And of course, privacy is just going to be an afterthought with things like phone apps now tracking your whereabouts because of the virus. And of course, the holy grail of all of this, the one world currency, or at least the first phases of it. You see, central bank digital currencies, they are going to be the start of moving us towards a one world global currency. And those currencies, they're coming and they're coming quick, make no mistake about it. The US stimulus package initially included language around creating a digital dollar. Now it was dropped off before the final version of the bill, but they wanted to put it in. It will come. China is nearly ready to roll out its digital currency, and the EU has begun the first phases of testing its digital currency rollout. It's happening. And what a better time to kill cash and bring in a central bank digital currency than during a pandemic. Remember, folks, cash is dirty. Ew, it spreads diseases and all that stuff. Gross, gross. And right now, during the middle of this pandemic, what are the central banks spending their time doing besides giving money to their mates? They're rushing to adopt blockchain technology so that they can phase out cash and introduce central bank digital currencies. Now, the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of central banks, has even said that the pandemic will accelerate the implementation of central bank digital currencies. Why would you do this now? So many other things to be paying attention to. Well, it's very, very simple. The banking elites want total control. They hate cash and they hate Bitcoin even more. You see, cash, while still giving banks power over you, having control of your financial life, it still gives you way too much freedom. You can go and do all kinds of things that they don't like with cash. But Bitcoin is completely out of their control. And thus, their attempts to regulate Bitcoin into subservience that we have been seeing recently really make sense. I mean, it's okay for Bitcoin to be digital gold, but it certainly cannot be the money of the revolution. This is why we see things like the FATF regulations to implement the travel rule going to be put in place. That is bad for Bitcoin and bad for crypto. And with all this talk of a digital dollar and a digital euro and a digital yen and a digital yuan, just stop and ask yourself, how long until we get a one world currency? Central banks, they're all in the same party anyway. Central bank digital currencies are coming. And the selling points are actually going to be really, really attractive for a lot of people. I mean, it's going to be free to move these currencies from person to person. They will be stable currencies. They will be convenient. They will be the unit of account. And of course, they're not going to carry any yucky diseases on them. And of course, they will be the most dangerous link in the Big Brother control matrix. Why? Because there will be no anonymity. Payments will all be linked to your name and your ID, and it will be the only way to pay for things. There will be no freedom of money. I mean, if you want to go and buy some meth, or you want to give money to WikiLeaks, sorry, denied. There will also be no safety of your money either, at least not from the government. Oh, sure, it's going to make it easy to stop theft from some kind of back alley criminals, but the real criminals, the actual criminals running society, running the banks, running the governments, oh, they're going to have free reign to do all kinds of bad stuff. Blacklists, that will definitely happen. So if you are guilty of any, thought crimes, then your digital dollar wallet, it will be locked and you'll be totally cut off from society, not even able to go out and buy food, let alone pay for your internet bills or anything else like that. The next step, of course, will be to give people trust ratings, just like they have over in China. Now, if you are a good little boy or a good little girl, then you will get rewards from the masters. But if you commit unapproved behaviors, or perhaps you go to unapproved locations, or even worse, if you are in the same location with low-rated people, then you will be punished. And you will be prohibited from doing things with your money to, for example, buy a plane ticket or buy alcohol. Why? Because you've been a bad, bad boy. Does that sound crazy? It's happening in China right now. And some of the world's biggest tech companies were complicit in making that happen. And you may say that China's history of authoritarianism has made its citizens uniquely vulnerable to such a system, but I honestly think that the TV-addicted masses everywhere are ready to have their rights stripped away without the faintest bit of protest from the majority of the population. Major tech platforms, they have already been squashing dissenting political voices. They're just erased from the internet. And the Snowden revelations about the scary level of spying powers being used by governments to spy on friends, allies, and citizens alike, that should have caused a revolution. But it didn't. And the Snowden revelation, that was 7 years ago. How much more advanced will this big brother spy state be right now? And they're doing it. They're definitely doing it. And okay, look. Yes, this is the worst case scenario for a digital fiat one world currency. And I actually suspect that most, if not all of these aspects will at some point come true. Because it'll be, something security. We have to protect you. That's why we need this digital currency and all these draconian measures to go along with them. And look, this video is not intended to be some kind of doom or gloom kind of video. Far from it. Knowledge is power. But you should definitely have a knowledge that you should never trust the banks. Don't trust the politicians. They've been bought by the banks and the special interests. And do not trust their new digital currencies. And even if none of that bad stuff happens, we have to remember that digital fiat is still fiat. This money will be printed into oblivion. The pandemic has definitely been used as an excuse for these massive corporate bailouts, huge giveaways to the banks. Massive inflation will rob the wealth of an entire generation. That same generation will also be burdened with completely unpayable mountains of debt. The United States alone has more than $24 trillion just in government debt. So either all U.S. taxpayers become permanent debt slaves or the U.S. defaults. Either way you cut it, it will not end well for the dollar. But perhaps a new world currency can rise up from the ashes of the coming Great Depression to save us all. Blockchain will be used. Remember, don't trust the people who say blockchain, not Bitcoin. Those people are not your friends. Anyway, if you are not excited about all these things that I just said, then you do have options. Bitcoin, and perhaps even more moving to the future, things like Monero, those will be the true money of freedom. You see, we already have a one world currency. Its name is Bitcoin. It is the tip of the spear of a whole host of new trustless financial products and services that will actually tear down the control matrix of the elites. Decentralized finance, this is such a massive thing. It's going to crush so much of the traditional infrastructure and open up a whole new economy. decentralized stablecoins backed by hard assets like Bitcoin that will establish a new gold standard, or of course, as it will actually be known, the Bitcoin standard for money. Fully unstoppable private money like Monero that will actually come in to fill that vacuum for cash. There will be no censorship, no permission, open public networks, no one telling you that you can't have an account or that you can't buy certain things or that you can't send money to certain people because someone else disagrees with their political opinions. Bitcoin is the money of freedom. This is why the elites hate it. They cannot control Bitcoin. They cannot easily stop Bitcoin. It is truly the people's money. We are fighting a battle for our freedom right now against the largest and most well-funded companies, banks, and governments in the world. And all it took to shake them was a little bit of code written by a guy 12 years ago named Satoshi Nakamoto. It won't be an easy fight, but the only way to avoid bad outcomes is to develop technology to move beyond them. Technology is a force which can liberate us in a massive way for our human society when put into the right hands, or oppress us if put into the wrong hands and lead towards authoritarianship. Look, I definitely, I love the sick gains in crypto, but honestly, what keeps me hodling and what keeps me optimistic through the market's ups and downs, the big picture, the revolution of money, the revolution of finance, and the revolution of technological freedom for humanity and building a better damn society. Anyway, those are just my two Satoshis, of course. I hope that you enjoyed today's rant. I would love to know your thoughts on it. Do you think that central bank digital currencies are going to be just bad news bears, man? Or do you think that, maybe there'll be something good? I'm kind of pessimistic, in case you can't tell, on central bank digital currencies, but I would be keen to know your opinion on it. I know I didn't cover every nuance of the topic either, but hopefully it's a bit of food for thought for you anyway. If you did enjoy today's video, whack that thumbs up button, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.